In this video, I'm looking at the Tin Hifi C2 Mech, the Tin Hifi C3, and the Tin Hifi T4 Plus. Let's get it. What's cracking, audio fans? It's David here from Prime Audio Reviews, and you might be wondering why I'm doing all these Tin Hifi IEMs in the same video. I did plan on doing them all separately, but as I listened to each one, I started to think, hang on a minute now. And then as I graphed each one, I thought, hang on a minute now. And here we are. So here we are. I'm not really sure where to start. You know what? I'm going to start with the graph. We'll put all these together in a graph and show them now. And you can see that there's not a whole lot of difference there. You know, this graph would be the perfect meme for what happened to Chi-Fi IEMs in 2022. Everything is basically starting to sound the same. And some people might be okay with that. Personally, I think it's disappointing. But you know what? It's okay because there are outliers. There are things that are doing something different than all the others. And, you know, the industry is not in any jeopardy. It is going strong, and as you all are well aware. So let's start with the pricing, and the C2 here is between sort of $24 and $29. That is the cheapest one of the three. Then you've got the C3 here, Tin Hifi C3, which is $49, and the T4 Plus, I couldn't find any pricing for this one online. It doesn't appear to have been released yet, so I'm not sure what the price is going to be, but I certainly would hope that it's hovering around the price of the C3. And you can see from the graph that these are all very similar. There are, of course, some subtle differences. For example, the C2 here is a little bit more lively. It has a little bit more zing in it compared to the C3. As does the T4 Plus. So the T4 Plus and the C2, slightly more treble energy, a little bit zippier and airier up top. Whereas the C3 is just a little bit denser, slightly thicker. But when I say thicker, it's still a very clean sounding IEM. I think this would be my pick out of the three. Not so much because of the sound. Well, probably, but how do I say this? Basically, the C3 gives me the best fit. I've never had a lot of luck with the T2 shells, or the T4 in this case shell, especially now that we've switched over to 2-pin connectors and you don't have that swiveling or spinning from the MMCX connector. So these ear hooks do cause a bit of a problem. If I change out the cable to just a nice supple one without the preformed ear hooks, I can get a pretty good fit. And if I'm not moving about, I can get a pretty good fit too. But for the most part, I find this not a great fit. Then there's the C2, and this is a new kind of shell from what we've seen from Tin Hifi, and yeah, these are pretty good actually. They fit quite well. The cable, the ear hook's a little bit aggressive as well. I don't see the need for that so much. But basically, the C3 provides the best passive noise isolation. It fills the ear concha nicely. It just fits really nicely in my ears anyway. Great fit, doesn't stick out, doesn't protrude from the side of your ears at all. And once you get that really good seal from the ear tip, and then you get the included, you know, fit and seal from the shells themselves, you get really good passive noise isolation and obviously the best sound quality. You'll notice as well that each one of these has a different cable. The T4 Plus cable, this one's actually pretty nice. I don't mind that at all. It's pretty good. The C3 is probably the nicest of the lot. Oh, I don't know. I'd have trouble choosing a winner between the T4 Plus cable and the C3 cable. The C2 cable, on the other hand, is easily inferior to both of the other ones. It's still decent for a $29 IEM, or $24 in some cases. And anyway, it's a detachable, so you can change it out if you want to. So which one should you buy, really? That is the question that we're here to try and answer today. Well, look, obviously, if you're on the tighter kind of budget, you will want to go for the C2 Mech. And honestly, you're not really losing out on much audio quality compared to the other two. It holds up very well in regards. I think they're all using the same 10mm driver. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're all using the same driver now. The only difference is the shells and the cables, pretty much. In fact, the Tin Hifi C3 is basically the Tin Hifi T3 Plus with slightly less treble energy. That's basically the difference between these. You can see they're using exactly the same 3D printed shell. So they've probably got the identical acoustic chambers inside. And the only difference is an upgraded driver, I think. And they're very similar in audio quality, very similar in sound signature as well. But the T3 Plus has a little bit more liveliness up top, which gives it slightly more energy, a little bit more airiness, and a kind of a lighter overall feeling, and a wider, more expensive soundstage, of course. But then you're still paying a little bit more for the T3 Plus, I think. Oh, and while I've got that here, I might as well mention the 7Hz Sound Note 0, because these two are tuned pretty much identically almost, but the T3 Plus does have superior technical performance compared to the Sound Note 0, but Sound Note 0 is still a incredible value IEM. So is the C2 Mech here, of course. It's a great IEM, good value. Cable is not pretty, but it's decent. These are all good IEMs. But I don't know, at this point it seems like Tin Hifi is just throwing shit at the wall and hoping that something sticks, and you can basically choose any of these and you get almost the same performance. You're better off, instead of looking at the graphs and trying to figure out which one will sound the best, honestly, you might as well just choose the one that looks the best, or the one that has the cable you prefer the most, because apart from that, yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Anyway, all good. Budget, a bit more, great value. No idea what the price is. Sounds good. Sounds similar to the C3, but a little more sparkle in the highs. Closer to the C2 Mech, this one. I haven't actually talked about the sound signature that much. They've all got the similar nice tight bass. I would say the C3 sounds slightly fuller in the bass. That's due to two things. First of all, it fits in my ears better, gives a better seal overall, and of course it has the least amount of upper treble out of all three. So the C3 will have slightly rounder notes, not as tight or sharp leading edges or transient attacks. But again, it's so close to the other two, it's just, I feel like I'm banging my head against the wall. I feel like I'm comparing three eggs at this point. They're all eggs. In the mid-range, all three are fairly forward. They're not recessed. They're kind of basically a mild U-shaped sound signature. Very good tonality, good articulation, no graininess in the mid-range. Male and female vocals are both represented well. Like I said, they're all competent earphones. They're just basically all too similar in my opinion. And then you've got the treble, and the treble is nice and it's pretty calm on all three. None of them are sort of fatiguing. None of them have a bright sound signature. In terms of staging and imaging, I'd say the T4 Plus is probably the best of the lot. And when it comes to resolution, I would say it's pretty even on the T4 Plus and the C3. So guys, that is the Tin Hifi C2 Mech, C3 and T4 Plus. I think we're just going to wrap it up there for this one. So leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Would you like to see more variety, or are you okay with just refining the, what people seem to be liking at this point in time? And also, which shells do you like the look of the most? I know people all have different tastes. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. Like it if you liked it, Parfam audio file style. Comment down below. And if you're new here and you want to see more stuff like this in the future, hit that subscribe button. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody. And until next time, I'll see you later.